Welcome to Ideal Design and Print, where we promise customer satisfaction in print. So today we're going to show you guys how to stick vinyl sticker decals onto walls. We want to show you how to put wall stickers. So today we will be using this already cut out logo, our logo for Ideal Design and Print. So don't worry about this part, we're still gonna put different colors there, so this is just a guide, that's why we're putting it there. Alright, so first things first, what tools do you need to be able to put these stickers? So we have here our handy measuring tape, scissors of course, some tape, pencil, and the most important thing is this scraper, because this is what will help us get the job done perfectly. So first things first, what do we want to do? We want to measure where we want to stick the decal to see if it's in line, if it's centered, if it's in the middle, just to make sure that it's perfect once the job is done. Okay, so first check how big this sticker is. Okay, on a flat surface we'd get the actual, but I'm sure when they actually cut it was 1 meter and 18 centimeters. So from there up until our design will come probably around here, but we don't want to make it start from the edge, we make it start somewhere there. Alright, so once we have the position where we want to put it at, we just mark it with a pencil. The reason why we use a pencil is because we want to be able to erase these markings which you're putting onto the wall after the job is done. Okay. Then the next step is to check for which one is the center of our decal to make sure everything is properly aligned. So this one is a crash course. Normally you would also have to measure from the top to the bottom to the design, or from the bottom to the design, to make sure it's properly centered. But for the sake of time, we're just going to do this real quick. Okay. So now, after you've done all your measurements, we take this adhesive masking tape. You can get it from retail stores, you can get it even from Postnet or any other stationery shops. So we look for the center of our design, preferably the center, otherwise you can just mount it anywhere, which looks like that. Okay, so for the sake of time, we know that our measuring tape gave us 118 centimeters, so half of that would be 59 centimeters. So I'm calculating that that is our center at 59 centimeters. Which is probably here, right? So that's where we want to put that masking tape, so that it's centered to our design. Okay. So you'll see why this is necessary during the application step, especially for larger vinyls. But if you have smaller vinyls, there's no need for this. It's easier to install. But for larger vinyls, it's much better to do this, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So we just look for where we put our markings to make sure that's where our design will go onto. Okay, and it's gonna go up until here. This is where our other marking was. So this is where we want our design to go onto, and we just stick it there, the masking tape. Right. And you could also add, this masking tape is for reinforcement while we are working with the vinyl to make sure it doesn't go out of place. You can also add it over here to make sure we have a good view of what we want to stick. Right, there we go. So if we're happy with this, we can proceed to start installing it. But if we see that it's not quite straight, we can always adjust it. Like now, I think maybe we just need to twist it a bit. Just do this. Right. Okay, still not straight. So this is where most of the effort comes in, just to make sure everything is straight. But otherwise, installing this is quite a breeze. This looks proper. For now, I think it's proper. Okay, so for the sake of time, we're just gonna assume that this is straight. But when you order your own sticker decals from Ideal Design and Print or from Ideal Vinyl, just make sure to measure from the top to where your design starts, from the bottom to where your design starts, from the left and from the right, to make sure everything is centered. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to assume that this is straight and we can proceed to stick this. So once you put your masking tape in the center, this helps us to guide us while we are sticking the vinyl, and it also keeps it in place. So the next step you need to do is to just scrap the vinyl to make sure it's sticking onto the application tape. So when you get your vinyls from us, they'll have this application tape, the actual decal, and the backing. So next step, you just decide whether you want it to come to start from this side or from that side. You just choose whichever you prefer. And by the way, this method is called the hinge method. So for those who have some background in woodwork, a hinge is something you use like on a door to keep it in place while you're opening the door. So that's where the name comes from, the hinge method. Because this masking tape is acting like a hinge. So now we're going to open our door while the hinge is in place. So by scrapping, the vinyl is now sticking onto the application tape. So you can fold it all the way up until the hinge. It will help us to work with the vinyl while the hinge is holding everything else in place. You can just get some more support over here while we're working with the vinyl this side. And it's so simple. Once you get the hang of this, it will be quite a breeze. So just removing the backing from the decal stickers. Just making sure everything sticks onto the application tape. So the parts which don't stick, we just press them in and start pulling again until everything is coming off. You can use this to hold it in place, or that to hold this in place. So next thing, you need your handy scissors to cut this part off. This is now trash, we don't need it. We're done with this. everything comes in your scrapper. So for a scrapper, if you don't have one of these, you can use your credit card or your debit card, anything which has a sharp edge, which you can use to scrap. So then take it from there. While our hinge is still in place, and we can already start. So we start from one corner to the other, scrapping while we're sticking it on. So scrapping allows the any air bubbles which you may have created to come off, and it also helps to put the sticker in place. So just do it from at an angle, at a 45-degree angle, so that everything goes onto the wall. Then you can scratch it to make sure it sticks. Another thing to remember, always use vinyl on a smooth surface. It doesn't work on textured surfaces, so if you're going to put it on a wall, make sure the wall has a smooth surface. It won't work on those walls which have rough texture. Alright, so we've done this side of the hinge, and now for the other side of the hinge. So we can remove this hinge. We no longer need this tape anymore. And then we are now onto the other side. So again, like we did the first time, we're going to take this off. Anything which is not sticking, we press it there and then pull again, until all of it is come off. If you really want to give your arms a rest, take that scissors again and cut this off. This excess is not necessary anymore. We can stick that part also. Again, from it's a 45-degree angle from the one side to the other. Then again, our new hinge. Use the scissors again because my hands are getting full. Put this back, it's fine. We'll wrap up with that later. And again, 45-degree angle. Making sure we get all the air bubbles out. You don't want anything to stick with air bubbles. So those of you who know our logo, you know this is not how it completely looks like. But since we don't have the other colors as yet, we're just using this as a guide so that when we do get the other colors to stick them, we just put the red, blue, and black where it's supposed to be. So now we can just wrap this up. Make sure nothing gets stuck under the vinyl. Here we go. Right, so the next step is to remove the application tape so that we know that the vinyls are clean and done. So you can start from the corner at a 45-degree angle and try to remove the application tape, making sure the stickers stay in place, because once they're in place, they're not going to go anywhere. Then they'll stick for the next 5 to 7 years, especially if it's indoors. But if it's outdoors, it may be up to 5 years. So we only supply 5 to 7 year sticker decals. So if anything comes up while you're pulling this off, just press it back in place, and you know that that part is done for good. Right, so we just cut out a little bit of that part just to make the video a bit shorter, but as you can see, our vinyl is coming out nicely. Okay, we're gonna scrap everything at the end once everything is done, but for now we just need to make sure that we're removing this application tape from the vinyl while sticking it onto the wall. Alright, so like I was saying, you should try to do it from the 45-degree angle to make sure that it comes off smoothly. So this application tape was overlapping as the vinyl is quite big. Okay, so you can start from the bottom also, that's fine. So as I'm taking this off, I'm just making sure that the small part comes off first, and then once the small part comes off, we can press onto it while pulling the application tape off. Remember, this is just to remove the vinyl from the tape. We're not yet done with the job. We still need to scrap it to make sure it sticks onto the wall. So this is just separation mostly. Separation from the masking, from the application tape. It's not going to stick there instantly. That's why we need to make sure it's separated first, and then we can work with our squeegee afterwards. With a scrapper or squeegee afterwards. Okay. Don't worry about the bubbling at this stage. It is going to bubble. So you see that most of the tape has come off. You can use your scissors to actually cut it off, because if you keep having it there, it's going to go back and stick onto our work, which will make it double labor. So rather, just make sure once it's off, you can cut it off after you go for a little bit. Then you can cut it off to separate it from the rest. So you can just cut this off so it doesn't mess up with our work, and just make sure it's out of the way. There you go. So let's see here. So if we don't cut off the tape, it'll keep sticking onto the other surfaces. Then we have to redo it again. There you go. So now we've removed all the application tape from the sticker decal, and then we're just doing the finishing touches to make sure that it sticks onto the wall and there's no bubbles. So you can use this handy scraper, or if you prefer, you can use a credit card or a debit card, whichever has a sharp edge, to scrap off the bubbles and to make sure it properly sticks onto the wall. So these are some fragments on the wall, so it's not actual bubbles. You can even use your hands just to smooth it out if you don't have a scraper handy, but it's always best to have a scraper to help take out every air bubble. Also, it makes sure the vinyl sticks onto the wall. We shouldn't worry much about this one because it's just a guide. We'll put the actual vinyls there once they are ready, once all the colors are in place. So there you have it, from start to finish, how to install a vinyl sticker decal onto a wall. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and cheers. Take care.